running on this one. It's running. Let's make sure this technology is doing its thing. Appears to be. Yeah, that seems to be okay. Right, so I'll do this little formal opening, then we can be pretty relaxed about this. So, this for the guys who are going to watch this later. So, I'm going to get this up here. Right, here we go. So, welcome to the Soul Contract reading training webinar, how to help others transmute their karma into the gifts of service. I'm Nicolas Ngan of the Centre for Conscious Ascension, and this is what we're going to cover today, especially for those of you watching the replay on YouTube. Have you noticed how people turn away from the biggest karmic challenges they face in their lives? No matter how hard they've tried, as they are just too painful for them to face, as they lack the spiritual map of life of how to overcome them. So this free live webinar is how you can potentially help others identify these core karmic patterns and how to go about transmuting them so they can deliver that gift of service hidden deep within their soul to the world, that special thing they've been looking for their entire life. And now we can chill out now. So, Jen, why are you here? Because that will then allow me to attune the webinar to what you need in this case.
Yeah, why am I here?
Yeah.
Good question. Because I find it an interesting concept, concept of karma, how it possibly influences our lives. And I've noticed throughout my life that there's certain things that are hidden way beyond what we see, and that influences our lives. When you were introducing the webinar right now, made me think about my father, who is now in a very far stage of cancer. And you see some patterns that come up. He's going to all kinds of healers, because I think even with my expertise, I cannot really be the person to guide them through everything. But you see, there's some patterns. Maybe you could call it karma. It's very hard for people to clearly see what is going on and to overcome that part of themselves. In my opinion, we're living in a time that may be karma, but I don't know what your opinion is about that. That we don't need it that much anymore. We can overcome it like in a second, karma. But I don't know if it's true, if it's just something that I'm that is like wishful thinking for myself, or that it's really something that I feel intuitively, that we can overcome that karma very fast and that we don't really need it anymore. Maybe it's um, instructing us to go in some direction, but people tend to like hold too much on to those patterns, and I don't think that's necessary anymore. So I would hope to learn more about that, about the overcoming and yeah.
Okay, I got that.
Something like that.
Okay, we have a good start. We have a good basis to start here. All right. So let me get back to my presentation. We're going to talk. That's the first thing we're going to talk about, actually. Karma.
Okay.
All right. So, okay. So, let me find the little pen here. Just gotta make sure I've got all my. Yeah. Find the pen, music, there it is. Let's come up. So feel free to ask questions at any time. So our karma contains our spiritual gift of service. So our soul, before we incarnate, looks at all our past lives and has a review of them and then decides what will be optimal for this next lifetime, for my learning and growth, to increase the amount of unconditional love within me. And therefore, it chooses the karmic patterns we're going to work on. And often, what it's actually doing is it's exploring patterns over many lifetimes. So these might be the lifetimes here. Okay. This is the present day lifetime. And it'll have one pattern here that turns up in that lifetime. This is the 3 lifetimes ago. It might turn up here, and it's still working it through. It healed some of it here, cleared some more here, still working on it. So there'll be multiple patterns in our life as it follows these themes. And they flow through to this current life. And we are not usually aware of them consciously initially. Okay, so we are a product of all our progression through previous lifetimes. And our soul is the constant. This is our soul here on the high dimensional, on the astral plane, progressing in its development, and it's sending down a different personality client avatar. Like you and I have never existed before as personalities, but our soul has. Okay? And so each time is a different personality, which is created by our soul contract, a set of vibrations in our name. So the soul can have experience of reality. And it is we as client personalities, avatars, it's our free will choice whether we engage with the karmic patterns that appear in that lifetime or not. Okay? And so that's how the soul learns. And when the physical body dies, all the learning we went through goes from our cellular memory into the cellular memory of the soul, and it's absorbed into the soul. And then it comes to the next lifetime, it does another variation. Reabsorption of the learning, another variation. Like this. This is how it actually works. So what happens is that we choose a name each lifetime that is programmed. The set of vibrations are programmed into our DNA, our energy field, and into a substance called karmic matrix, which is like a gray cobweb energy in the 4th, 5th, and 6th dimensions that weaves through our physical and energetic bodies. And this literally radiates out with our soul contract, the vibrations of our name, out into the matrix. And the matrix forms a hologram. It forms a subjective reality around us. We call it the holographic matrix. So it seems very real. It's creating a certain reality around us. It's all coming from within us. Even though a lot of the time we may feel life's doing stuff to us, it's not. We're actually creating every moment of it. But it seems very real. So the matrix, through the law of attraction here, creates whatever we need in that moment to grow from, including all the karmic experiences we go through and what your dad's going through. And so initially, we're meant to attract certain positive experiences in our life. But what happens initially is we get the law of opposites, one they don't tell you about, like in the movie The Secret. We get the opposite of what we want to create in our life, our karmic stuff. Say, for example, we were to manifest and attract empowerment in our life. We'll get lots of disempowerment initially. So we have a bunch of yucky stuff, as you probably know from life. You just wish it would go away. And the idea of this is to turn our conscious into it, and to bring conscious feeling awareness to it, to transmute it. And then that disempowering experience will then become an empowering experience. Okay, like I was bullied at school a lot because my by the law of attraction, I was meant to manifest being empowered. So I had lots of bullying. And the idea was that so I could claim my power back. And that went on into work. That went on for decades. Okay, so I had to claim my gift of service by healing within my soul, programmed into my emotional body as deep trauma from past lives of being disempowered. But also it comes from being a perpetrator of disempowerment on others, being a bully or misusing power in past lives. That's someone else, another personality down here. So gradually I took back my power to come to a place of power, but it's taken a very long time. And what most humans do is they turn away, they avoid the painful stuff. Okay, most people are in avoidance, or they go into addiction to numb out the feeling of the karmic patterns coming out, so therefore they get stuck. Okay, and so in your dad's case, cancer is a product usually of some deep conflict, internal conflict inside, often from past lives. Okay, and unless it's resolved, it can result in a physical manifestation like that. I used to work with cancer a lot. Okay, but there are other things which can cause it as well, the environment, especially nowadays. So if you can clear the internal conflict, in this case, your father's case, and own all the issues around that, especially what happens in the ego is you get a thing called a death wish, where the ego would rather kill the body rather than face the karmic pattern. That's the key. If someone can overcome their death wish, they'll get better, from my direct experience. If they don't, they won't get better. It'll keep deteriorating. But often the ego is so stubborn that it wants to hang on to the avoidant positioning. So therefore, it won't allow the personality to actually feel the issue. Okay, that's how strong the ego can be. So this work, the soul contract reading work, is about helping people feel their karmic patterns and transmute them and claim their gifts, because it's really for light workers like you, Jen. It sounds like you're a therapist. What do you actually do? Because you said you had a lot of expertise in stuff.
Yeah, what do I do? I work as some kind of health coach. I work with massages, with reflexology. Mainly, I learned the physical treatments, but last years, I work more energetically, or I integrate it in my physical. It's not really treatments, but how I support people, their self-healing capacities, always in a natural way. And I see that there's layers if you work with them, that it manifests almost directly in the physical body. But I'm still learning. I'm like in the beginning of my conquest.
Yeah, journey. I get it. Thank you for sharing
Journey,
it.
yeah. English is not my mother language. Sometimes I have to search for words. I'll try my best.
You're doing pretty good. It's much better than my what do you guys speak? It's Dutch, or what do you call it?
Dutch.
Dutch.
Yeah, Dutch.
Much better than my Dutch. Okay, so
That's true.
right.
I guess.
So
can I just ask one more question about
go for
previous?
it. Go for it. Yeah.
You were talking about the matrix. Is it something that we create ourselves, that matrix, or is it something that is there and
Okay. Let's talk about that. Hang on. Let me find a different picture. I got a different diagram for that. Here it is.
Because
Okay.
you were talking about the name, I think the name contains the information, and that resonates in the matrix, something like that.
Yeah, it does. So we come from here, source. I'll change the color. It's a bit more. Let me find my blue. We come from source. And changed it. Hang on. That's one. We come from source in the 12th dimension. And source wanted to know itself. And it thought about it a long time. But then it realized thinking wasn't going to get it anywhere. It had to feel itself more in terms of all the aspects of what it could be. So the Creator, God, Great Spirit, densified itself. It took pure consciousness and densified itself from this 12th dimension, 11th, 10th, 9th, all the way down to this 3rd dimension, till we are consciousness solidified. Well, we appear to be solidified. We're densified light. Okay? But actually, it's just a perception. All right? And so you've seen the movie The Matrix?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is The Matrix, and that movie is more a documentary, not science fiction. It's trying to explain what we live in. So this construct, this band of frequencies in the 3rd dimension, where souls can come, we come in unconscious, we forget, we come from Great Spirit. Okay, we come into a body and we wake up. And we know from the very beginning, something's not right here. You know, the splinter in your mind you have in the Matrix. Something's not right with this place. Something's off. Something's very dissonant. It's because we are so separate from Great Spirit. And also, this is a dissonant reality. So what we do is we search for a way out of the Matrix. We search for a way, usually unconsciously, we search for true meaning. I mean, when you were younger, did you have a feeling there was something important you were here to do, and there's got to be more to it than this life? Something's really badly missing. Did you have that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you go on the path, because basically the soul's trying to wake us up and saying, I want to go home to God. Because the idea of this is that God expanded itself out to this densified reality. So we actually forget who we are. When you're in the higher dimensions, this is the 4th dimension or astral plane, you remember who you are. But we forget. So first we have to remember we wake up. Then the idea is to find a way home called ascension in consciousness, to raise our frequency and gradually, individually, and collectively as a civilization, this happens on every planet with sentient life in the universe, find our way back to source. And that takes billions of years for a civilization to go back to here. And so this matrix creates a limited experience. So the reality, what you think and feel, manifests into reality. That's the job of this particular band of frequencies. That's the band of this matrix. So that we create a supposed solid reality, and from that we learn. And the programming is in the karmic matrix, which is a separate matrix, which is the grey cobweb energy of the 4th, 5th, and 6th dimensional levels of our being, that's put in place by our soul, based on a set of vibrations in the sound of our name. Your soul chose to be in Belgium at this time with particular parents and all the karmic patternings. You're a product of millions of ancestors, physical ancestors in that region, to create this life experience. And the name you chose in Dutch, that frequency is in you, radiating out from your birth certificate name, a specific program for the matrix to create a reality for you to work through. And the soul was sitting there, giving you free will choice, do what you want. Okay, what are you going to do with it? Are you going to engage? Are you going to feel it, transform it? And it wants to see how far you're going to get, because it doesn't know. Because if it did, it wouldn't do it. So we are an experiment in consciousness. And we are a spark of the Creator. We're all part of it. So we often think the Creator is some privileged white guy sitting in a throne, old white guy sitting in heaven. But actually, we are the Creator. Little sparks of us, all 8 billion of us on Earth, having a direct experience within the matrix as the Creator creating. This is creation happening. And each of us on Earth is contributing to the learning of the Creator by being incarnate. That's why there's incarnate life on planets, because the Creator is learning. So it wasn't like planets were there and we sort of randomly appeared out of the primordial ooze billions of years ago. They were consciously created by the Creator. And we sit in planets usually have a Goldilocks zone they sit in, around stars. And NASA's identified 40 billion habitable planets in this galaxy alone. Okay, that has some sort of life, and it's probably going to be sentient or more developed than we are. We're pretty early in our evolution, humanity. And they're all doing the same thing in their own different, unique way. They're all learning to create so the creator can learn. That's the purpose of life. We are the creator creating. Okay? It's not to make a big pile of money or achieve this and that. Just have this experience in the moment of what our soul is doing. And yeah, there's a life purpose or soul purpose for each of us that will be the pathway to get back to God. And the aim of this is to break through the limitations of the reality of what we're creating in the matrix and transmute it all. So we clear all our karma eventually. That's the idea. And then if we can manage to do that, which the soul contract reading work is all about, it gives you the tools to explain from the vibration of your name what's going on. So therefore you can consciously spend 80% of your effort working on the 20% of things that matter, rather than the other way around, where most people don't get very far in life. As you probably observed in your practice, most people struggle because they don't have the spiritual map of life. It's a very long answer to your question. Does that help?
Yeah, it helps to clarify everything a little bit more. Yeah.
So, how can we help all these humans who chose to be born into this matrix? Okay, break through it. Okay, all right. So, here's how we can help them. Training as a soul contract reader is the answer to that search, people. So you can learn how to decode the secrets of the blueprint of life for spiritual seekers. Spiritual seekers make up 2 to 3% of the population. We were asked by God, or we volunteered to come here to bring all our high dimensional abilities from many lifetimes. Often, most of us don't have to incarnate, but we choose to volunteer to help 97% of the population who go very asleep to be that separate from God to awaken. Okay. Have you always felt different to everyone else around you?
Excuse me?
Have you always felt quite different from everyone around you?
I don't understand. Have you, and was the word?
Have you felt different from everyone around you?
Felt different.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a bit different from all the rest. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I've got to know you because someone sent me something about walk-in souls, and that was the beginning of some weird search. Because he told me I have a walk-in soul, and that made it all a little bit more complicated. And then I bought your book, The Soul Contract, and it's an amazing book. But it's hard if you don't know if your name is still fit. So that's a bit of struggle. But yeah, I'm a bit different than other people, and everything around the walk-in souls makes more sense for me now. My life has been so far. Yeah.
Yeah. So for those of you who don't know what a walk-in is where there's a change of soul at a specific time and location. So astrologically, the walk-in soul gets a new astrological chart. And a high frequency walk-in soul comes into a body to build upon the lifetime created by the first soul who came in at conception. Because if your soul came in at the time your mother conceived, the frequency difference would be too great, and she would have miscarried. So it's a way of getting into a body without the messiness of childhood. So you can then raise the frequency of the body and build upon the personality created using the soul contract in your name to get on with the walk-in's mission. It's a pretty complex way of arriving, because your job is to clear the soul contract of the first soul to get on with the walk-in soul's mission. Okay, so for those of you guys,
it's still important to make the soul contract for for my name, what by which I was born?
Yes, because you're in the avatar. You took over the client avatar of the first soul, and you two had an agreement at a specific time you take over. And the exchange is this: you said the first soul said you can have the body and the life, provided you clear my karma. And you said, okay, that's a deal. So
Okay.
your job's to clear the karma in the soul contract, and once you've cleared enough of that, you take over the lifetime. Then the walking soul will build upon all that experience of the first soul, and then you can get on with your mission.
Okay.
Okay,
Great.
that's the mission. Until you clear enough of it, the walking's mission won't be clear to you fully. Okay. All right. Okay. So I will put a link, guys, in the YouTube description, which explains about walk-in souls. Some of you may be walk-ins as well. You can read more about it there. Okay, and how that works. There'll be some on that page on the website. There'll be some videos. I did a Gaia.com show on walk-ins, and there's another video of my experience of being a walk-in. I think it's being an Arcturian walk-in or something like that. It's called. So I talk about my remembrance of coming to Earth. So I'm a walk-in as well. Okay, so you've still got to clear the karma of the first soul. Okay, so the training as a soul contract reader means you can help other spiritual seekers decode the blueprint of their life hidden within their name, which create their reality in each moment. It then allows, and knowing that spiritual map of life, which is what we talk about in the book, Your Soul Contract Decoded, and empowers them to overcome their karma, which is what we all face, express their talents, achieve their goals. And if you can work through all this stuff, karma, talents, and goals, in both the physical and spiritual aspects of your life, then you start to manifest your soul or life purpose. But you have to have cleared enough of that stuff to be able to do that, because it's not going to be revealed, but it's revealed in layers. Okay. All right. So where are we? Let me get this here. So if you do a walk-in astrology reading, which I'll send you information on that. I'll put in the description. If you look at the natal chart when the body was born, and if we can figure out the time you walked in, probably want to have a walk-in evaluation session, Yen. If we can figure out the time you were born, day and time, which can be done, and you do a second astrology chart of that time, you can see the relationship between you and the first soul, and that will tell you a lot about your mission. Okay, and we also look at the midpoints between your planets. That's going to tell an awful lot of what's really meant to happen in this life. Okay, but I have an astrologer who developed this, Sarah Funk. She's a website, I think, PlutoRisingAstrology.com. I'll post it as well, but she'll be able to tell you more about the mission as well. But I'll post all that in the description. Okay. So for those, back to this here. So the way we decode the sound of the name is we use the Star of David, this gateway of consciousness. And so when we come into the earthly reality, we need to come through this gateway of consciousness in order to be allowed into the earth plane. Because it's like going to school. You have to be at a certain level of soul education and experience before you're allowed into the school of earth. Otherwise, you're not going to cope. And so you have to have certain energies in place, which are these ones we're going to talk about here. So to experience the earth plane, our client ego avatar, first off, works with a physical triangle here. And this is where we are brand new, so we need to learn to walk and talk, get conditional responses, get up and running in life, careers, awaken. How old are you now, Yin?
How old am I?
Yeah, how old are you?
43.
Okay, so between the dominance of this physical triangles is for the first 5 cycles of 7 years, for the first 35 years. And between 35 and 42, the 6th cycle, we make the transition to the spiritual triangle. I mean, they're both running at the same time, but it becomes more predominant. So this is where the spiritual mission comes online. This is where we start to search for our true purpose. Or it can happen earlier. When did your awakening first happen? Spiritually.
The biggest changes started, I was hoping to get grown up at 40, but it actually started around my 42nd birthday. That I could do feel stuff that I didn't realize I had in me, that never worked before, or that I was not aware of. It was through a shamanic trip.
Yeah.
With drumming, no psychedelics or so. And that was a big change in my life, and it was September, yeah, almost 2 years ago. So I'm becoming 44 this year, so
Okay,
it's around my 42nd birthday, like one month or 3 weeks before.
Yeah, you're right on schedule then, you see, because when you transition between 35 and 42, once you go to 42, you come much more fully onto the mission. Okay, because between 35 and 42 is the midlife crisis for most people, spiritual awakening, dark night of the soul, where they look at their life thinking, there's got to be more to it than this job, or this relationship, this mortgage, whatever.
Yeah.
And they make a transition.
Yeah, this is when I was around 30, and then when I was 35, I quit my job, and I started my own practice just from nothing, starting from nothing, and in some way I managed to have a practice to survive with what I did, but having fun in life and doing what I want.
Yeah. Might happen when I was 37. I was working in a city in London, and it was a blue sky summer day. I think it was about May approximately. And then this massive 200-foot long cloud flew by in the shape of an angel, and it looked at me. And the telepathic message was, it's time to leave. And I knew it was time to leave this very high-end corporate job. And I left after 6 months to do exactly what you did, to start this practice. It was back in 1997. And yeah, it was tough, but my work and soul just was a drive. Okay, we have to get out of here. A previously really interesting job became something I just wasn't interested in. I have to go. And this whole new life opened up to do what I do now, and to running trainings globally and sessions and workshops and stuff. So you're right on time. So, okay, so let me get a look. Change cursor. Okay, would you like a taster reading of what this mission is? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do that. Okay, let me find the software. Software here.
Because I actually did the reading for myself, but for my walk-in soul. So I use kinesiology, and I tested the name out. I know pretty if I can rely on it. I think I know when, but I thought my first name when I was born that it was not important anymore. So
okay,
it would be great
so this is our software. Yeah, we'll do it with the name as it's spelled. So this is our soulcontractreader.com software, guys, and you can analyze. If you haven't done your chart, you can generate 4 free charts using this. So we put your current name in here. So is that your birth name?
That is not my current name. No, that is the walk-in name.
Okay,
so it's the family name is correct, Nathan's, but Jane Epi is a and it's Dries, Dries.
Yep.
And then Joris, Joris.
Okay.
And then Leander, L. There's a third name, Leander, Leander.
Okay.
Dries Joris Leander Nuytens.
Okay.
Yes.
That's the birth name, is it?
No, there's three first names, and the Nuytens is the family name.
Yeah, so this is on the birth certificate.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So we'll just go with this, okay? All right. So actually we'll stick with your current name because I'll put that up here. I'll leave that one down here. So
Mm.
for the sake of simplicity, we're just going to use your name as spelt, but there's also a Dutch version of the name where we do the phonetics, the equivalent written English as it's pronounced, but that's too complex to do here. It requires a lot more time. But we can get a good name, we can get a good reading from this personality name. Okay. So I won't put your date of birth for data protection reasons, since it's a public video. So what star sign are you, Gene?
What how is it called? Scale. I
Scorpio?
was in October. No, October is a Libra.
Libra.
The way weegschaal we call it in Dutch. I
Yeah,
don't know.
Libra. Okay. All right. So you're okay with me, the consent on this. You want this done.
Mhm.
So you guys can generate your own names, guys, you guys watching, and you can figure out what it means from the book, Your Soul Contract Decoded. Okay. Right. You're okay. Okay, so this is going to give you a good personality-based reading. So the way this works, some of you may be watching this for the first time. So you know how this works, Gene, but I'm going to explain for the guys who may be seeing it for the first time. So what we do here is we take the name, and the software we use 22 ancient Hebrew sounds. Okay, and software matches it to this name here. And there's a translation matrix from English to Hebrew. This is just the written form of the name because we can work with any European name or any name with a Roman alphabet. Okay. And Hebrew is interesting in that in Hebrew, numbers and letters have the same frequency. So we're not assigning numbers to Hebrew letters. We're basically taking the Hebrew number inherent within. This is Daled, this is Resh, this is Yud, for example. This is Hey, this is Samech. Okay. We're taking the numbers inherent within this and we're going to decode them on the Star of David to find out what your soul contract is. So we start here. I would explain this karmic stuff. So in the physical triangle, we have karma, talents, and goals. So karma is a set of physical karma is a set of unresolved past life issues the soul, as we showed at the beginning, is brought in around this 5, which I'll explain in a little while. It's to actually overcome and transmute into your gift of service. The physical talents are latent, and as they activate, that helps us overcome the physical karma. If it's a good match, then they start to become your gift of service. If it's not a good match, it's just going to take longer. And as the physical talents activate, that helps us move towards the physical goals, which is what excites you, what gets you out of bed in the morning. Okay. Just want to check. No one else has turned up. No, we're okay. Sometimes people come late. And so the energy flows from physical karma, the physical talents, the physical goals. Okay. And then in the spiritual, it flows from spiritual karma, the spiritual talents, the spiritual goals. So the spiritual karma is how do you connect to higher consciousness, especially. This is a disconnect in a very specific way, which I'm going to get to in a short while. And the spiritual talents help overcome it. If it's a good match, then they help you get to the spiritual goals in life, if it's a good match as well. So what happens over time in each of these 6 aspects is that because you are consciously aware of them as a result of this work, This is time, this is percentage complete. Most people, it's very slow in a lifetime. It takes a long time to get anything complete in a given aspect. Well, with this work, you go a lot faster because you know what's going on. So you can put 80% of the effort of doing the right things to overcome the karma. You're not wasting your time bouncing around in a padded room in the dark trying to figure out what's going on. So as you reach thresholds of completion in each of these aspects, what happens is that they contribute towards manifesting your soul destiny, the life purpose. Have you got a clear idea what your walk-in mission is yet, Jen?
Yeah, but I've done it like one month and a half ago, so I don't know
Okay.
it just by heart. Yeah.
You got a clear idea. Good. So as you clear these 6 outer aspects, layers of this soul destiny start to be revealed to you. As you progress further down the time up this chart here, more and more layers are presented to you. Only when you're ready to cope, where your ego personality is clear enough. So what you have now is the first layer. You'll find later on another layer of awareness will come when you're ready. It'll build upon the previous one. So it's a gradual progression so our personalities can cope. Because if they told you what your true mission was at the very beginning, you're probably thinking, oh, I can't do that. And then you'd be lost to the soul. So they only show you what you can cope with. Okay? So what's the main question you have about your life? And I'll give you a little taste of each of the aspects.
Main question.
Current in this moment, what's your main question? And Phil, don't hold back, whatever that question is, because it'll be in the chart somewhere.
Yeah, the one sentence that pops up, what should I do with my life? Because I'm like a bit stuck in yeah, what I want to do. It's like a turning point that I'm at for some time.
Yeah.
And I feel that something is changing, and I'm given a lot of time off. Not too many people coming, so I have much time for myself.
Yeah.
Don't use it always in the best way, but it's like a turning point. So yeah, it's a bit lack of direction, something like that.
Okay.
What should I do like the next years?
Yeah.
With my life?
Let's get into that.
Is that not too
No, that's a
broad?
perfect question. This is what this work is for. It's to answer the big questions, not the little ones. You answer the big questions and the little ones become clearer what you meant to do. So in physical karma, oh yeah, to calculate the numbers, we took these numbers along here, got about that, and we allocate them in a clockwise spiral until we use them all up. Okay. Then we add the numbers up. In this case, in physical karma, the total of the numbers is 32. And because 32 is greater than 22, we have 22 numbers in the Hebrew alphabet, 22 letters. And there are channel interpretations from the Soul of Moses that Frank Alper, my teacher, brought through. We have to reduce this number 32 to between 1 and 22. So we simply go 3 plus 2 equals 5. Whoops. And there's 2 numbers always. So but we see, can we reduce this more? No, we can't. So we go 5. It's a 5, 5, 5. It's called a double number. So saying there's one frequency of a 5 here. Same as all these other ones, except the 12-3. There's a range of frequencies. That's called a combination letter. So you have a range of frequencies between a 12 and a 3. Whereas here, there's just a limited range. So saying, Jen, I want you to do this. So if you feel your life has been rigid in some ways, there's certain things you can do. This is why. Soul has a very specific focus. So what we do here, you take the physical numbers, put them on the top half of the table, spiritual numbers on the bottom half, then we add them up. We get a 39 here and a 39 here. So 3 plus 9 is 12. So it's got to be between 1 and 22. It's got to be a double-digit number if possible. And then this number needs to be a single-digit one. So 3 plus 9 is 12. And 1 plus 2 equals 3. So we get a 12, 3. That becomes soul destiny, and we pop that in the middle. And then all these squiggly symbols are channel symbols that Frank Apple brought through that are gateways to your soul. It's going to tell me what I need to tell you. So briefly, the physical karma is when you were younger, did you try and speak the truth and got in lots of trouble about it? People didn't like hearing the truth?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. It's because you're a truth sayer. You're a visionary. And in the past, you were like that, probably a medicine man or a wizard or shaman, and you got persecuted for speaking the truth. Okay? So you're here to speak truth to power, especially be a visionary, be a pioneer. So the sort of work you need to do is needs to be very cutting edge. Okay? And the reason you're a body worker at the moment, which I'd say is temporary, is so you can ground yourself, because this is a very etheric, high frequency energy. So it's going to help you get into the body and help to work with people, because you're actually in the etheric realm most of the time. That's why you're a body worker. This is just a foundation to work. And what's happening, you're getting ready for the next layer of work, which is not going to be body work in the way you do it now. Does that sound about right?
Yes. Yes. Sound. Yeah. Feels right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the physical talent sixes here are creativity. Are you very artistic or creative?
I don't really do much with it.
Okay. So
I have creative moments. I can create music. Yeah, but I don't do it very often.
okay. So this creativity is the ability to take an idea, it's called a convertible knot, take an idea that's resonant to you, to your mind, and turn it into a physical manifest reality in the world. So thought manifesting out of nothing into something. In your case, it's music. Okay. So in order to manifest the next thing, I'd suggest you work on your personal creativity, like music, because in opening up the connection to the soul's creativity, that's going to bring through other parts related to the mission. But you've got to unlock it. So think of it as it's like doing regular exercise. You're building your creative muscles, which will allow the next phase of the mission to come. Because you have lots of visions here, don't you? Visions for the future. And your job is to ground the vision into reality and use this to manifest it into physical form. Because fires can get very excited by visions. They can stay excited by a vision for 30 years and nothing happens. But your job is to turn it into reality, which is what this is going to do. It's going to feed into there. So what sort of visions have you had, Jen?
Visions about the world. How it could all be different. How crazy the world is, and how easy it is to solve, or visions about health. How people treat each other, and how people treat nature, or this earth we live on. Yeah.
Okay, so you're here to turn those into reality. Okay, but your six here will have lots of different creative ideas. But you've got to pick the one that opens your heart the most, because there's only time to do a few of them.
Yeah.
Don't try and do them all. Otherwise, you're going to get really frustrated because nothing's going to get finished.
Yeah.
Does that sound familiar?
That sounds very familiar, yeah. There's a lot of ideas and a lot of things going on in the head, but yeah. You'd rather give up than or you start to give up and get frustrated, indeed. Yeah.
So what you do is you try on the different things in your heart and you just feel the one that opens your heart the most, because The rest of your numbers are all these sevens, which is about healing the wounded heart from childhood. Because there's a childhood wound here, which makes the ego feel it wants to hide away and go into isolation because it's scared of being seen and being rejected again. Does that sound about right?
Yeah.
And it puts out a facade, public face. So everyone look at this, but don't look at the real me because I don't want to be rejected. And so as part of this mission, it's about coming out of isolation. Have you got isolated being a therapist? Because you're not going to a physical job anymore.
Yeah, I'm pretty much isolated. And last years I got through a divorce and even I have a new girlfriend, but I'm pretty much isolated from the
Yeah.
world. Yeah.
Yeah. So
A
your
bit.
job's to heal that wound of childhood, divorce, and they're always heartbreaking in some form. I had one myself, so I know about that. Um, and then drop the facade, heal the wounded heart. Okay, I'll put some stuff up about divine healing, which is what we've developed. Mira Ariel, the co-founder of the business, developed. To heal the wounded heart and become one person. You become one person here. I'm going to clear the screen here. You become one person. Then as you heal the heart, you show your true feelings and thoughts to the world. That'll magnetize to you to break the isolation, all the people and opportunities you're here to connect to. You're here to build a network of people and opportunities, both personally and professionally, and to synergize them into a greater whole. You're here to facilitate a whole team to work with you. Okay, and each team member will have a different piece of the mission. Okay, we as Lightworkers are programmed to do everything by ourselves. That's the default, just in case we don't meet anyone else, just in case we don't clear enough our ego to meet anyone else. So the key thing is to stay grounded and heal the wounded heart, because then the mission is going to come. I mean, I used to do everything by myself, but now I have a whole team, a brilliant team, who we pre-incarnationally agreed to meet up, and they're all turning up now. Some amazing people have turned up, so I don't have to do everything. My main focus now is doing these webinars, reaching people with our marketing program, and run trainings and developing this software to the next level. We have a thing called Soul Contract Reports. And I have a whole other team that builds the websites, coordinates all the trainings, brilliant people who make the rest happen so I can do what I love to do. Okay, so heal the heart, the team will turn up, and the mission, and the team as a whole will make the mission happen. Which is why you may not be able to see the rest, because they haven't come with their piece of the mission. Okay. Like some other members of my team had other parts of the vision, and when they sit I thought, well, that completely feels right. Okay. And they can do things I can't do. And you've got 4 sevens here to telling me healing the heart's key for you. Okay. So you're here to move out of isolation with a 7 to actually building a network of people who are your audience with whatever you're going to deliver, because you're actually here to be a spiritual teacher. 12 here is about expansion. You're here to absorb. Do you read lots of books, Ian?
Not too many, no.
Do you like to gather spiritual knowledge in different ways?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
You're
I absorb a lot, and I can, yeah.
Yeah, you're here to gather all the spiritual knowledge, expand it into a higher form. Okay. And then this is 3 is the internal canal. And you're here to then clear the unworthiness, this plug of unworthiness in the canal. And deep within the canal is a body of soul knowledge that you're very resonant with. Do you know what that is yet?
No.
Okay, it'll come. As you clear the unworthiness, which also comes with a heartbreak, and you pull this out, what happens is that this library of knowledge will start to express itself in the world as a teacher. You're here to be a master teacher and spiritual leader, okay? To share work with an open heart, an open, authentic heart. That's the mission, okay? That is the mission, to reach a lot of people. I mean, you're here to network. So I would say for you, with the 7, as you heal the heart, it's about getting out in the world and networking with all sorts of groups. of like-minded people. First off, to help you feel safe, find groups you feel safe with, because the ego feels unsafe because of the broken heart. Feel safe to show yourself, and then plug into those networks and reach people, plug into other people's networks and get out in the world. Okay, so I'd suggest once a week, you need to go out with groups of people, spiritual people preferably, okay, because you're walking very high frequency, so you're not going to be interested in people who aren't on the spiritual path. It's just going to annoy you, bore you, and then build a network. Okay, that's your homework. Build a network. Do the emotional clearing. I'll put some divine healing info up there. You can do videos for that as well. More sessions, or learn it yourself, whatever. And then as you do that, the mission will start to unfold. The mission will come to you, but you got to go out in the world and connect to people. How's that sound?
Yeah, it sounds like something that resonates. And I have been doing that like in 2021, 22, with all the lockdowns and stuff like that. I went out. I connected with a lot of people, brought people together that were isolated. Pretty strange, actually. But then, yeah, it kind of stopped. And I have to think about the beginning of the webinar about the law of attraction and the law of opposites. That was one of the biggest insights of reading the book, the Soul Contract book. Yeah, it's like now a time of like I'm disconnected and isolated, although I have tasted some other life, connecting with people and having networks and bringing people together and inspiring people.
Yeah, so time to get out there when you feel right and go to your edge, okay, as much as you can do it, because that's actually how because now you're 42, 44, it's time to get on with the mission now, see? Okay?
Okay.
So overall, you're here as a pioneering teacher to build networks of like-minded people in a very creative way to spread spiritual knowledge, pioneering cutting-edge spiritual knowledge. That's the mission. The content will be up to you to decide, but it'll only come as you progress through this. Okay? Right. Hope that helped.
Yeah, it's more clear now.
More clear?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So if you guys watching want to figure out your mission, you can go to soulcontractreader.com, get the book, Your Soul Contract Decoded. Okay, you can find it on Amazon or check out yoursoulcontractdecoded.com. If you are in a real hurry, okay, you can get a summary report here. We produced, we took the book because lots of people said to me, okay, I've read the book, but I don't want to have to do all the maths, put the interpretations in. So can I just press a button and give me my reading? So we said, okay, you can do that by going to yoursoulcontractreport.com. It's only $13.99 or about $18 US. And it's a 3-page summary report. You can get a 3-page summary report, okay, which will tell you, will give you a brief summary of each aspect, just like I did with Yin. You got a bit more though, because we can have more of a discussion. If you want an in-depth report, really want to get on with it, on the same page, you can get a full report, okay, which is in-depth interpretations based upon the book, recommendations for overcoming your challenges so you can be empowered to master your life. And it consists of 2 reports, a 25 to 50-page abbreviated report so you can get your feet in the water, not too overwhelming. Then the full one, which has everything, 75 to 140 pages based upon the book. And this is a very in-depth report you can get. It'll take you a few weeks at least to absorb, sometimes a few months. That's available if you guys are in a hurry, which a lot of people are, it turns out. we found out. About 70 pounds, about 90 US dollars or 82 euros. So that's for you guys who are in a hurry. Okay. Are you always in a hurry, Yen? You got a 12.3, which means you try and cram a lot of stuff in, a bit like me. Does that happen?
Yeah, sometimes.
So
But
you guys
in
got
this
12.
case, I was patient. I learned about the center, the website, the healings, the readings that you do, and yeah, it it popped up several times. I have to do this. I want to do this, and then like now I'm sitting here.
There was a reason.
Yeah, so it's my patience has been rewarded,
Yeah.
or
So,
trust. It's more like, yeah, um, was not the right time yet.
yeah,
And
there's
now
always
it
a
is
right
the right,
time. Yeah.
perfect timing. Yeah.
Yeah, we turn up in people's lives. The universe guides you to us when the time is right. So
Mm.
the way it works. So if you guys got 12.3s, this is the way you get it done quickly. Okay. And one of our practitioners, you put your name into your name data. We send it to you within 7 working days. Sometimes it's usually early. It depends how busy we are. And you get your report and you'll find out everything about your life. So it's a very cost-effective way we designed for people in a hurry. Okay, so, or we have live readings as well if you want. I do a few of those, but I mainly teach. But some of the other practitioners on our website, part of our team, they can give you really good readings. So if you wanted to go to the next step, if you wanted to learn how to use this tool, it's very powerful for working with your clients if you're a therapist or wanting to become a therapist. If you're a therapist, counselor, consultant, or workshop facilitator, the soul contract reading work will give you the spiritual map of your clients' lives. And it's very fast in that you have an immediate and profound understanding of their issues, which will accurately guide you through all your work with them. And it immediately builds trust, and it produces better and faster results with people. Okay. And so what a lot of my practitioners do, though, most of them are usually therapists already. They use the structure of the work from the soul contract training, and it's a framework which to understand what their clients are presenting to them physically, emotionally, mentally, and therefore they can target their other therapies based upon the recommendations we teach them in the training to get a more effective and faster transformation of their clients. Okay, and because the client understands it's true, it dissolves the resistance in the ego to transformation very quickly. So people make a lot of great progress. So any of you guys interested in coming along, feels right to you. You learn a structure on the 5-day training. You understand yourself and everyone else in your life. You learn how to give soul contract readings based upon people's birth names and through interpreting the energies associated with each of the 22 letters of Hebrew, which we talked about. And you learn how your channel works and how to develop it. Because these readings are like, what happened just then is that my higher self and Yen's higher self had a discussion. And what channeled through me, through the framework of this work, is what Yen at a personality level, the walk-in personality, needed to hear in that moment. So we teach you how to do that. But what's happened, that was what we call a summary reading, but we teach you how to give hour-long readings, which are much more in depth. And basically, it's a conversation with the universe, a very structured conversation with the universe that helps the personality of the soul take a great leap forward. That's what we teach you to do over the 5 days in the training. Okay. So, yeah. So the learning is experiential. Some of you have read the book. It's not about learning more about the book. This is the next level beyond. With the book, I put in as much as I could that you could do in a book format. That's why it's very powerful, the book, because it's transmitting the frequencies of God. But we move you from just the learning process with the left brain into an experiential, full-bodied immersion in the interpretations of the chart. So when you come on the training, we use your 7 aspects. We go through all 22 numbers, and we pick, usually with enough people, the 22 numbers can be demonstrated from the direct subjective sharing of each of the students of the numbers, what they directly experience. So you sit in the field for 3 days in the first part of the training, and you learn through listening and feeling and absorbing others' experience. So you start to become the work. It's not about knowing the work anymore. You become it. So it's a full activation in you. It's a full body transmission. And it reawakens the work in you from past lives, which is the most effective way of learning, because experiential body learning, you never forget. Okay? And we support you after the training with ongoing communities. We have a peer-to-peer Facebook group, and we have a support program to transition you into actually integrating the work. It's a 6-month support program, which is an additional fee to actually help you integrate it into your practice. Okay. So what will happen to your clients? This is what will happen here. It gives people a feeling of deep peace when they hear the truth of their lives read so profoundly and accurately. Okay, and it completely dissolves our first layer of defense of the ego, trying to keep all this stuff hidden, because truth is running at such a high level of consciousness compared to the falsehood of the ego. And people get a feeling of relief knowing that there's actually an order and a meaning to all the disparate experiences they've had in their lives. I remember when I had my reading with Frank Alpha in 1990, I just relaxed because of all this crazy things happening in my life. I was bouncing off the walls, as I said earlier. Made complete sense. And he said I was here to be a teacher, and I knew I was here to teach this work. And that was the trigger for my awakening. I'd literally just woken up. Been awake a few years, but it basically triggered me catalyzed me into doing what I do now. And then it gives people a feeling of relief, especially those who have been very disempowered. They may feel like victims of the matrix, to move out and take charge of their life and move forward from exactly where they are. We teach you how to do that so people can get unstuck and they can realize their potential. Because everyone has a mission of some sort. It's a question of whether you can get there. This is what this tool's for. So we teach you how to show people where they are on that spiritual map of life. So this is the map. We show them they're here, and we show them how to take the next step. We show them how to overcome the challenges they're facing on the spiritual map, on this road back to God, with particular recommendations, how to overcome the challenges, and how to manifest more of their dreams. A lot of people later in life give up on their dreams because there's so much karma. We show you how to help them get there. Okay, it does require work though. At least you're doing the right thing. And we show you how to help people align to their true soul purpose. Most people are programmed by the matrix to do what the matrix says, and they're not aligned, which is why life doesn't work so well. And the work touches people's inner being because they feel seen for the first time. Did you feel seen just now, Jen?
Mm-hmm.
Feel really seen?
Yeah.
And it builds a trusting connection. It means you can go very deep with people. And it opens you at a deeper level of yourself and connection to others and having compassion for people. Compassion for the challenge they face. I didn't have a lot of compassion when I first started working, simply because I was very numbed out from the trauma of childhood. And now I actually have that compassion, which for me is a miracle, because I was pretty damaged as a kid. So what will happen is after the first 3 days of immersion in the field to get the numbers, we usually have a 1-day break or more, or a week, 5-day break. We teach over 2 weekends. Is that in the 4th and 5th day of the training, we teach you how to prepare and deliver readings in the group. So we're on Zoom because it's a global training, and you are giving and receiving readings in a breakout room, which is a private digital space. Only the 2 of you and your partner in there, plus the teaching team and assistants come in and help. So you give and receive readings, and you'll be amazed. People think, God, this is too complicated. But actually what happens is, because you've been sitting in the field for 3 days, people give amazing readings to each other, and they learn a lot from each other. Then in the 4th, 5th day, we do another practice with different partners, and you learn even more. Okay. So our aim is that you become the work and can deliver reasonable readings soon after the workshop with a bit of practice. Okay. How's all this sounding, Jen?
Yeah. Mm. Sounds sounds interesting.
Yeah. So you got any further questions from what I just said?
Mm.
Anything goes. So
Yeah, for me, it's all really clear right now.
really clear? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You've asked some good questions already today. Thank you for being such a good demo um, client here. So for those
Right.
of you guys, sorry, go on.
No, just I just want to say thank you. That's
Yeah.
all.
So for those of you guys watching later, if you want to get hold of the book, go to yoursoulcontractdecoded.com and that takes you to our website and you will see where you can buy the book in different countries. If you want to generate your own chart, go to soulcontractreader.com and then you can get the book to actually figure out what it means. Remember, there's 4 free charts. If you are in a hurry, go to yoursoulcontractreport.com, then on our website, and that will enable you to enter your name and take payment, and then you'll get a chart, you get a full report or summary report, depending on what you want, in about 7 days. Usually it's about 3 or 4, depending on how busy we are. And if you're wanting to learn how to help spiritual seekers awakened, these are the trainings. We have 2 trainings. This is the Asia Pacific training, the next one. It runs 29th to 31st of May, 1 day off to integrate the first 3 days of transmission. And then the 2nd of June, 2025. This is for people in the Middle East, Asia, Australia, New Zealand. Okay, because it means that I get up at 6 a.m., which is the earliest I can manage, 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. UK. In Europe, it's 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Okay. Or if you're in Europe, you want to get up early rather than finish late, you can come, people come for that in Europe, because normally we run 12:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. in Europe on the Western Hemisphere training. If you're further out, further east of us in Asia, this is what this training is primarily designed for. So it's one of my alarms. In India, it's 10:30 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. East coast of Australia, there are a lot of students here. It's 3 to 11 p.m. New Zealand's 5 p.m. to 1 a.m. Here in America, it's a pretty early start, 1 a.m., but we still get people coming. 1 a.m. start Eastern time. Pacific, it's 10 p.m. start time. So this runs once a year, and the deposit is £277, or about 322 US dollars, probably a little more in euros. The actual full exchange, which includes the deposit, is £718 or 835 US dollars. Okay, pretty similar amount in euros. And you can find out more at soulcontractreading.com. So that's coming up soon. If you're watching and you're in North America, okay, the North American training, we run one in spring. This is the spring one. There's another one in autumn. It's the end of this month. It's 26th or 28th of February. 1 day off to absorb the transmission. And the 2nd, 3rd of March. So it's 12:30 to 8:30 p.m. UK. Eastern time is 7:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. EST. Europe, it's 1:30 to 9:30 p.m. Central European time. We're in California. We get a lot of people from the West Coast. In North America, it's 4:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. I know it's early, but people used to fly here. And so this basically cuts the cost in half. And I can't teach beyond 8:30 p.m., which is why we do this timing. And 9:30 p.m. seems to be a limit for people in Europe as well. So we had to find a sweet spot to cover from the West Coast of North America out to Eastern Europe and the Middle East. And it's the same link to find out about that. And there's also be one in, I think, September, October as well. Okay. Any other questions, Ian?
No, not from me. Yeah, I just wonder if you have the soul contract reports, you have like for for 82 euros, you have a full report. It's almost impossible to do it with a client, and then it takes you, I don't know how many hours. I work at 70 euros per hour, so would cost much more and maybe not as in depth as the full report you can get for 82 euros in the on your sole contract report. So
So what are you're comparing the full
how would
report?
I go into the training to do sole contract readings if you can have like for 82
Well, the thing is that
euros?
the report is designed for people who are not ready for a live reading, because the report is no human interaction.
Mhm.
What we did then is I asked you what your intention was. So for a normal reading, like I would charge £200, but over €200 means that the reading is customized around completely what you need, whereas the report is not. It's just the generic report with all the information. So what we do is that we teach you how to connect with a client, find out exactly what they need, and take them from exactly where they are each step of the way with the challenges they face. People usually have 5 or 6 key questions about their life in a live reading. We can address them and show them what's causing it, what they can do about it, and the progression forward. You don't get that with the automated report.
Okay.
You get a generic report because that's the limit of what you can do with that. So
Mhm.
the cosmic dialogue we have, you had a taste of it there, is much more powerful because it means we're going to connect to you, get the transmission, and we can show you exactly how to move to the next steps. Okay, but we made the reports because people said, I can't afford a live reading. Can I just get and also they said, I don't want to have to go through the whole book. It takes too long. So I want to do 10 of these things. What have you got? That's how this whole thing started. So it's a step, it's a pathway. So often people have the report and they say, now I have a ton of questions.
Mhm.
Then they want to come for a live reading because they realize this is extremely valuable. So
Yeah.
the report does not replace delivering a live reading.
Mhm.
It's a stepping stone as a practitioner with a sales funnel to get people interested. Whereas when they have the report, they're thinking, oh, this is incredibly valuable. Now when I
Mhm.
ask a ton of questions because it's taking me deep, I want to go
Yeah.
deeper. That's what actually happens. So
Mhm.
they're not competing with each other. It's just different stages of people's evolutions. When they realize this is so valuable, it changes people's lives. Okay,
Mhm.
so that's how we position it, and we're about to launch this report service to all our practitioners, hundreds of them. We and have worked out the sales funnel, so you can see how do you market. So you actually reach a lot more people with the summary report, 3-page summary report, and the 140-page full report, and we gradually cultivate them to come up to the live readings. So you reach
Mhm.
a lot more people, and it's a lot. The reporting is very automated, so you don't have to do any more work. But the system we've built does all the marketing work for you. So you
Mhm.
end up reaching more people, building your business, and then having more readings eventually. So we've got a whole system worked out,
Okay.
and you can become part of that with the report system. Um, we've built the system over the past 10 years, and then with the system, we build the system, and you become like a reseller in the system. You buy the reports wholesale of us, then you can sell them to your clients as part of your marketing program. And you can sell it just by sending them a link. You just click on it, and the system does everything else. And it will eventually include even upselling them once they've been through the reports. Okay, I want a live reading with Yen, and just click a button, they book it, and they'll
Mhm.
go to the booking system eventually. It does automatically, and they just turn up. You see, so
Okay.
we're building a whole ecosystem to support practitioners like you. Wait,
Mhm.
and we train you how to
Okay.
use it. There's a whole training program we're developing so you can use it. I mean,
Okay.
our aim is to wake up 10 million people by 2033 with this technology. So the only way to do it at that scale is to have a highly scalable automated system.
Mhm.
And you guys at the pyramid of that, where the people really want it, will come to you. Say, okay, Jan, tell me about it. The report was amazing. I want to go deep. Take me from where I am, move me forward.
Mhm.
So we're offering you a whole system, basically, the way we do this.
Okay. Now it's more clear.
Clear? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So anything else you want to say or ask before we go? You've been a great participant. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you for having this webinar. Yeah, it was great.
Okay.
Great being here and meeting you.
Yeah. Thank you for coming. Hope to see some of you guys on the training or at some level here to serve. All right.
All right.
Take care. All right. And the video will be out probably early next week once we process it. Okay. All right.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.
Have a lovely day. Yep.
Yeah.
Bye.